That shiny armor we wear every single day to look strong, confident, perfect, unbeatable? It's tiring, right? It weighs a ton. But the fear of taking off that armor, of showing our cracks, our insecurities, our deepest fears, is often even greater. We think, if I show who I really am, with my flaws, they will judge me, reject me, hurt me. But what if I told you that this armor actually stops you from living a richer, more connected life? What if your greatest, most incredible superpower was hidden precisely in the courage to be imperfect and vulnerable? Let's make a deal. When we talk about vulnerability, many people immediately think of weakness, crying in front of others, exposing yourself too much, being an open book to anyone. But it's none of that. Researcher Brené Brown, who has dedicated years to studying this topic, defines vulnerability in a much more powerful way. It is having the courage to show up, to take emotional risks, to appear even when you don't have control over the outcome. It's about uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. It's not about winning or losing, it's about having the courage to present yourself and be seen when you can't control the result. It is, deep down, the measure of our courage and authenticity. Why does fear scream no so loudly? The roots of our armor. If vulnerability is so important, why do we avoid it so much? Why does this fear scream so loudly? Fear of shame and judgment. From early on, many of us learned that making mistakes is bad, that we need to be perfect to be accepted. Showing a flaw and insecurity opens the door to the fear of being judged, ridiculed, feeling shame. Fear of rejection and disconnection. If I show who I really am, with my imperfections, will they still like me? Will I belong? The fear of not being loved or accepted is one of our most primitive fears. Culture of perfection. We live in a society that, especially with social media, idolizes the image of perfection. Edited lives, constant smiles. This creates enormous pressure to hide our struggles and our inner mess. Painful past experiences. If at some point in life our vulnerability was betrayed, ridiculed, or used against us, it's natural that we build even higher walls to protect ourselves. This armor we build seems to protect us, but in reality it isolates us and prevents us from living fully. Now, let's flip the script and understand why embracing vulnerability, even with fear, can be your greatest superpower. Deeper and more genuine human connections. Want more meaningful relationships where you feel truly seen and connected? Vulnerability is the key. When we allow ourselves to take off the masks and share our real feelings, our struggles, our hopes, we create space for others to do the same. That's where empathy blooms, trust is built, and intimacy deepens. Superficial relationships feed on appearances. Deep relationships feed on truth. Courage that inspires, and resilience that strengthens. Being vulnerable requires a huge dose of courage. It's stepping into the dark, taking a risk. And every time you face that fear and allow yourself to be vulnerable, you not only inspire others, but also strengthen your own courage muscle. You learn that you can feel fear and still act, that you can show your wounds and still be strong. Vulnerability doesn't weaken you. It makes you more resilient because it teaches you to deal with life's imperfection and your own. Creativity and innovation without shackles. Every great creation, every innovative idea, every artwork that moves us is born from a place of vulnerability. You have to risk trying something new that may not work, that may be criticized. If you're afraid to fail, to look foolish, fear of vulnerability, your creativity is suffocated by perfectionism. Vulnerability gives us permission to experiment, to fail creatively. And it is on this ground that great ideas bloom. Authenticity equals inner peace, the relief of being yourself. Living constantly trying to be someone you're not, Hiding parts of yourself, maintaining an image, is exhausting. It creates internal conflict, tension that steals our peace. Vulnerability is giving yourself permission to be authentic, to align who you are inside with who you are outside. And this authenticity brings a sense of integrity, lightness, of being at home with yourself that is deeply liberating. Accelerated personal growth, learning from life for real. We only truly grow when we allow ourselves to not have all the answers, when we are open to receiving feedback, even the hard-to-hear kind, when we admit our own mistakes and are willing to learn from them. All these are acts of vulnerability. It's impossible to learn and evolve if we are always defensive, trying to prove we are perfect and know everything. Vulnerability makes us eternal learners. Okay, I got the superpowers. But what about that fear that screams, "Don't do it"? It won't disappear like magic. The key is not to eliminate fear, but to learn to act despite it, with wisdom. Start small, in safe territory. Practice vulnerability in low-risk situations, with people you trust and feel safe to open up a little more. Self-compassion is your safety net. If by showing vulnerability you feel exposed, judged, or if something doesn't go as expected, be extremely kind to yourself. Remember, you are being courageous. Vulnerability needs boundaries. Being vulnerable is not telling your whole life story to anyone, nor exposing yourself to abusive situations. It's important to have discernment and set healthy limits about with whom, when, and how you open up. Connect with your why. Why do you want to be more vulnerable? To have deeper relationships? To be more authentic? To grow? Being clear about the value you seek will give you more strength to face the fear. Imperfection is our invitation to a richer life. The relentless pursuit of perfection is a trap that isolates us and steals the joy of living and connecting with each other. The courage to be imperfect, to embrace our vulnerability, is not a sign of weakness, but our greatest superpower. It is what makes us deeply human, capable of loving, creating, learning, and living a life with more meaning, truth, and connection. It is the invitation to drop the armor and simply be. What small act of being imperfect and vulnerable can you allow yourself to try this week? And which of these vulnerability superpowers do you most want to see flourish in your life? Share with us here in the comments. Your story and your courage can inspire many others. If this conversation about the hidden strength in our apparent fragility touched you, leave your like, share it with those who need to hear this message, and subscribe to the channel. A brave and authentic hug to you, and see you next time.